Right, good morning. So we're up to Shin Tes Zayin Seif Tes. We're going to discuss today if you've got bugs, fleas, insects, or whatever, how you get rid of them on Shabbos, what you can and can't do. Says the Mechaber, Paraish Hanikra Bargus Beloshan Arav, a flea, which is called the Bargus in Arabic. Also Lot Sudai, you're not allowed to trap it. Elim Kain, Hu Al Basara, unless it's on one's body, Va'oiktzoi, and it's biting you. Va'asa Laharga, and you can't kill it. Says the Ramah, Va'af lo yim lelenu biyadoi shemi yargen, and you can't squash it. You can't sort of roll it with your hands, squash it in case you might kill it. Elo yitlenu biyada v'yizrukenu. You can just take it with your hands and throw it away. Aval kidnap, but a lice, mutzah laharga, that you're allowed to kill, which is maybe a chiddush why that is, and the Mishnah is going to explain. V'hamafale begadav mikin, if you clean your clothes from lice, lo yaharge, make sure you don't kill them. There you just sort of squash them with your hand, v'zarkon, and then you throw them out. But if you take the lice, you clean your head from lice, then mutar lahargam, then you are allowed to kill them. Okay, so let's see the detail in the Mishnah Berurah. Hanikra bargus, hainu shcheira hakefetzes. So this is a black flea which sort of jumps around. So the Mechaber said, ocelot sudai, says the Mishnah Berurah, Lamed Vav, after hu davar she'ein b'minan itzayid, even though this is not an animal which is commonly trapped, I'll call upon him also midrabon. Nevertheless, to trap these animals, these fleas, these little insects, it's also midrabon. V'chanal b'sif gimel. V'itzrich lashmi'inan lafuki midas eizim and apoiskim. We need to be told this to discount those poskim who are of the opinion because some poskim are of the opinion that you're actually allowed to trap and kill these types of animals. So the Mechaber is saying that you can't. If you're not sure, if it's the middle of the night and you're not sure, is this a lice, is this a flea, and if it's a flea you can't, and if it's a lice you can, then mutzalat suda, you can trap it, but you can't kill it. You're allowed to clean begodim from fleas on Shabbos. But you got to be careful not to move it with your hand to bichlal seder because that's considered seder, and therefore you should just sort of just shake them off. Okay, and then we said ocelot sudai, these fleas, elem kain hu al basaro va'ikso, unless they're on one's body and they're biting you. Says the Mishnah Berurah Lamed Zayin, hainu de mishum tzara de uktzah le'goz rabon na'alisat seder, because of the pain of the bite of these little animals, le'goz rabon on seder, umutzalot sudala shlicha, and you're allowed to therefore to sort of catch them and then throw them out. For who shekos of oiksa, and when it's zel shekos of oiksa, that's what it means when they're biting you. Mogan avram v'chein kos of agra, the high oiksa dafku is mamish biting you. V'yesh mekilin gam kashehu al chaluka mebifnim, that not only if they're biting, but even if they're just on the inside of your clothes, they may come to bite you. And if you can get rid of them without touching them, okay, so 67. If you look at the second paragraph, very interesting. What if they're not actually on you, but they're buzzing around you? They're just disturbing you. So he says there here in 67 in the second paragraph, the buzzing of the flying of the zvuv around you, is disturbing you. That's not enough. They've got to literally be on you, and it's more of a significant distress. It's only allowed to get, v'tzara guf, alone v'tzara nefesh, which is sort of an emotional, whatever you want to call it. Me'idach das hagorim listen karelitz, she'ein chiluk bein tzara nefesh v'tzara guf, u'mutza litveis bal chaim, she'mafrila lishen v'letziei. And if it's disturbing you from sleeping, there's an animal sort of buzzing around, that's enough for you to get rid of it. Okay. Lamed ches. V'asala hargo. So we said that if there's a flea, a parish on you, you're not allowed to trap it. LM Kain, it's on your bossa and it's biting you, or it could bite you, as we just saw. Va'asala hargoi, and you're not allowed to kill it. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Hatam, the machalkinim bein parish lekinahu. We make a distinction between a flea and a kinah and a lice. Now this is the important thing. To kol melachos to Shabbos v'mishkan yalfinan lohen. We learn everything from the Mishkan. V'yalfinan misas kol ba'alei lechiu mishchitas elim adomim. And the issa of shchita, of killing an animal, is from where? Is from the elim ma'adomim. These animals, shahi b'mishkan b'shvil oresehem, which they were needed for their skins. V'lav dafka l'dei shchita. You're not eating the meat of these animals. You just need the skins. And therefore how you kill them doesn't have to be in a hetetic way, in a shchita. You can hit them, you can choke them, you can stab them, and all these sort of things. Because that's just murder. And therefore killing any animal, even if it's not through shchita, is going to be caught by a malacha on Shabbos. Because where's the source for this problem, if you like, on Shabbos? The problem is they needed these animals, these elim ma'adomim, in the Mishkan for their skin, not for their meat. So they would get rid of them, not necessarily through shchita, but through other means. And therefore, killing animals is still chayev on Shabbos because of Netilas Shama. And therefore we make an extension. Just as elim ma'adomim can procreate, af kol sheparim v'ravim, so too Netilas Neshama only applies to those animals that procreate in the normal way. Lafuke kina, as opposed to a lice, the eina ba mizachim and akeva, is not formed through the normal union of a male and female. Ela ba min hazeya, it sort of comes from sweat and things like that, and therefore lo chashiva beria, and it's not considered a living creature. Aval parish, but a flea, afal pisha gam hi eina par v'rava, it doesn't sort of procreate in the normal way, and it's not sort of through a zochar and a keva. Nevertheless, mikol mokum kiven shehav yosim and afa, it comes into existence from the ground and from the dirt, from the earth. Yesh ba chiyus ki'ilu nivra mizach v'nekeva. It's as if it's been created from a zochar and a keva. V'chayv olam mishum netilas neshama. V'afilu im hapirish oiksei also lahargoi. And therefore, the parish, even if it's biting you, you're not allowed to kill it because it's a malacha of netilas neshama on Shabbos. So that's an important. That's the main thing. Yeah. So therefore, if you've got what is also on Shabbos, the netilas neshama of a barrier, of a proper creature, which is like the elim ma'adomim, which come about in the normal way through zochar and nekeva, but not a kina, which doesn't come about through that way. It's through the sweat of the person's body, and that's how they're produced. However, the parish, this flea, is, although it's not from a zochar and nekeva, it is produced in a more normal way, and therefore it would be a problem killing that. Now, if you take a look at footnote 70, what about number 70? Let's go through this one. Killing a creature that is disturbing, causing distress to people. Let's say you've got you got a fly on the table or something like that, and it's disturbing you, it's spoiling the food or something. Could go in piroshim like fleas, zvuvim, yetushim, v'achbarim, and other types of rodents and insects. Kosa b'shaylas and shuvas igros Moshe. Shemuta, you're allowed to get rid of them. In other words, you don't say, Rachmav al kol maisov, like we said yesterday. If they're disturbing you, you're allowed to get rid of them. So catching animals and rat traps and mouse traps and things like that is mutter, and you don't have to, there's not even a midas chasidus. Ochein. And however, this is the famous Ramosha. If you can, try and avoid killing them directly. Because if you're going around with a rolled up newspaper or with a mallet or something like that to squash them, that's not ideal. That will create achzorius, cruelty in you. Better to put out a spray or to do something else where you're indirectly killing them. That's what Moshe says. And there's lots to say on this. But I think it's a Netziv, the Nehemek Dovo, he says that after the Parsha of Nidachas, it's a mitzvah. You've got to destroy this city, which is the majority worshipping idols. So there's a mitzvah of Nidachas. Afterwards, the pasuk says, "V'nasun l'chorachamim." You've got this midas achzorius because you've had to do this thing, and therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu compensates you by giving you achzorius. They quote Golda Meir that she says, "I can forgive the Arabs for killing my boys, but I can't forgive them for causing my boys to kill their children, because that creates an achzorius in Klal Yisrael." That's mamish tizvan. Okay, let's go weiter. Okay, Lamates. So we said, and not only that, you can't squash them in case you might kill them. Lahatish koichan shleach zreilov. You can't squash them to sort of not kill them, but just to weaken them. Okay, weiter. Avol kina, we said mutal harga, but a kina you're allowed to. Bekol makom shemoitza, however you find it. Bein al basara al begodov derech mikra, whether they're on your body or on your clothes. You're allowed to kill it. Hatam in lam mem aleph. Hatam keniskelel, we mentioned previously. Or mosim shavyosim min aglolim, and these insects which come about from glolim, from feces, or min aperos, or shevishu kiyetver, from soiled fruits, could go into loim shel basar. Kidneys, you get worms in meat and in beans. Hahargan potter, you kill those types of animals. That's actually potter. But if you get creepy crawlers which come about through the normal way, which procreate normally, like the fleas that we spoke about earlier, hahargan chayev, like we said before. So if you kill animals which are fleas and insects, which are procreated, which are formed from either a zoch and a keva or from the offer, then you're chayev. But if it's from none of those things, from either from the earth or from sweat or something like, sorry, not from the earth, from sweat or things like that, then there's no chiyuv. And when do we say that some fruit flies and things which are sort of in the fruit, there's no issa to get rid of those? That's only when you've reaped them, you've taken them off the tree. But those that are on the tree when they're still attached to the tree, then there is an issa deraisa. It's a mikri sheretz gomer. That's they're proper sheretz. Kein kol zamog navram lefi mashe bianu primegodim. Ubi alocha berati daptur miperes hatlushin dafka shkenisavu achashen is afshu dafka when they go bad. Okay. Now, weiter, if you clean your begodim from lice, don't kill the lice. Says the Mishnah Berurah Membes, to kivin shemetzuyim sham pareshim, because sometimes you have fleas there as well. We're worried you might come and kill a flea. Even though there's no problem with killing the lice in terms of netilas neshama on Shabbos, there's a gezerah you might come to kill other animals which are not, which are problematic. For example, the parish like a flea. You're allowed to sort of throw them into water because the lice, there isn't a problem necessarily with killing them, and it's only a gezerah, and therefore we're not worried about that. But with the fleas that there is an issa d'oraisa to kill them, then you can't put them in water because that's like killing them. And don't take lice out of the skins of foxes, or if you've got a cat, or if you've got a dog. The problem is you might come and take off the hair of the animal, which is a problem. Take a look at 76, very interesting. And therefore taking them off in that way, you can actually take them off and touch them. And therefore you can remove these lice from your things from your clothes on Shabbos with your hands directly. Because it's got a din of graf shel rei. Now, one more footnote before we just finish off. What about if you find insects in the toilet, in the bathroom, and you want to flush the chain? And sometimes there's some insects flying around, and you know if you flush a chain, you may kill them. So is that a problem? So if you look at 77, in the toilet, or it's very, very likely that you're going to kill them if you flush the chain. First of all, you're allowed to. First of all, it's not your kavanah to do it. But if you're not going to flush the chain, there's a problem of kavod abrius, and therefore it's allowed. Okay, let's just finish the Mishnah Berurah Mem Gimel av hamafale. But you're allowed, if you've got lice in your hair, then you're allowed to take them out of your hair or your head. Mutar laharga, you're allowed to even kill them. Says the Mishnah Berurah Mem Gimel the bereish ein motzu pareshim, because you're not going to find fleas on your hair, you'll find lice there, and therefore lo shach ligzer b'shvilam, and therefore we're not worried of kinim otu piresh. The cause of ataz, Not only that, even on you've got fleas on your body, you've got lice on your body, because it's unlikely you'll have fleas there, it's normally lice. And the gezer is only on begodim. So just to summarize, you've got to be careful not to trap fleas or kill them on Shabbos, but lice are more lenient, and the reason why there is a difference is because Netilas Neshama in the Mishkan is from the Elim Ma'adamim, and that was not a din of shchita, that was any which way you kill them. But that's only for an animal which is brought about in the regular way of Zocher and Nekeva of Afa, but not kinim and things which come from sweat and things like that. That's not a problem. Okay, Beseda.